Hello, and welcome to Ensemble Conversations with me, Mark Kilmurry. This morning, we're talking about our 2021 season that's coming up in January. We launched a week or so ago, and here we are. And we have two theatre legends to talk to. We have Kate Razon and Jamie Oxenbould. Hello, both. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. How exciting.
Theatre legends.
Yeah, theatre legends, indeed, indeed.
I think that's the first time I've ever been referred to as that,
and
I'm very, very happy about it.
Won't be the last, Jamie. It will not be the last time. Okay. Now, last year we did our little podcast version of this, and here we are, hugely high tech, thanks to Ben at Damn Good, and we're talking about the season coming up. And who knew? Then last year, when we were talking about the next year, which was 2020, we'd get to 1.5 plays, and then none of us mentioned that, did we?
No. Why didn't we see that?
What? Yeah. Could one of you have said, by the way, halfway through crunch time, you may not get to the end of it?
This probably won't happen. Yeah.
Anyway, here we are. We have some lovely plays back, but first, let me show you this lovely brochure. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's a new. Would you like to have a look, Katie? Would you like to have a look?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, hold on. I'll throw it to you. Oh, fantastic.
Right. Jamie, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. Maybe you could you
maybe all of them?
get that over to me?
Absolutely, here it comes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Hey.
Looks good, huh?
Very
what do you
nice.
think about that?
Oh, yeah, centerfold too. Looks great.
Can I have it back?
You'll probably... Okay, yeah. Sure.
And... thanks. Oh, it's hot. Thanks for that. That's good. Yeah, I'll let you have a look. Looks very good.
Maybe send one over. That'd be great. Thanks.
We will. We'll put them in the post for you. Designed by Alphabet, beautifully done. Photographed by Christian Trinder. A gorgeous brochure. Please, anybody watching, grab a brochure. $10.99. No, actually, completely free from our foyer. Now, shall we go through the plays?
Let's do that.
Please.
Now, the first.
Very exciting.
Go on, Katie. You start.
So I'm going to start with number 1.
Yes.
I'm going to start with Kenny.
Hey. Love it.
I'm so excited about this because I'm a huge fan of so many people who are involved in it. Obviously, the original film, but I'm a huge fan of the actor who actually has always made a joke that apparently he's been quite often mistaken for Shane Jacobson.
Yeah, he has.
And he is a very, very, very funny man. So it's just perfect to see him in this role. And also, the other thing I'm excited about too is that the adaptation has been done by the gorgeous Stevie Rogers, who's just such a clever writer and developer of things. So yeah. It's terribly exciting, and I believe you're directing it, Mark.
Yes, I am indeed. Yes, look, Stevie Rogers has done a fantastic job. It's set as a TED talk with Kenny talking to the audience about his life and about his job, and we're going to start it, if we're allowed to start it, in the toilets downstairs, and then it will filter into the theatre. So it's a really funny piece.
Great idea. Because it's a mockumentary originally, the film, so that's his way into it, I guess, is that he's turned it into a TED talk. Oh, that's a great idea.
That's brilliant.
Yes, because then you can have that relationship with the audience, and plus he can go backward and forward in terms of his life story, and also he's talking about toilets and the latest range of toilets, but he can dip in and out as Kenny can. It's a very clever idea, and Ben's going to be terrific.
He will. He'll be great. He's a very, very funny man. So you're in for a treat with him. And it's quite rare that you get film to stage adaptations. I don't think that happens very often, does it? So it's kind of unusual and kind of exciting, I guess.
It was one of my 2:00 in the morning. Oh my goodness, Kenny on stage moments.
Yeah. Well, he's such an iconic, Australian Aussie battler character that everybody knows. It's kind of it was a great idea. So So well done, you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the thing I like about Kenny, and as Clayton said, Clayton Jacobson, when I was talking to him, he's internally optimistic. He's not negative. It's always about the best of things. He makes the best of things with a job that he has that's literally down the toilet, and he makes the best of things because that's his outlook on life. And once you're in that company for a while, it rubs off on you. You really feel great about yourself and about life, even no matter what's going on. You've got this optimistic.
It sort of harps back to. I've always thought that, especially with the documentary or the mockumentary side of it, it harps back to the idea of the old, what Sydney suburban growing up in Sydney suburbia was all those years ago, and something that I've certainly experienced. And the idea that when you lived in a street with a whole bunch of people who earned about the same amount of money, but even if there was people that earned more, they were still in touch with everybody else in the street. So it was a slightly different way, I believe. And that's making me sound really old saying that, but it's that it is that idea that that's what it was. There wasn't as much as a divide between the blue collar and the white collar workers.
The community.
It was a much greater community, and I think that really comes out in this story.
I
he really taps into that old Aussie strine sort of language too, like when with all those little sayings that he's got, like a bum full of Smarties and this smell will outlive religion, all those old-fashioned Aussie slang sayings, which you don't hear very much anymore. No. It's great coming out of that character's mouth. That's what I enjoyed about the film so much. It kind of harked back to an older sort of more optimistic age.
Our parents' generation. It goes back to when we were young kids. That's what that's what you heard. You heard a lot of that sort of stuff. I still come out with them occasionally.
I know. I'm trying to bring them back. I'm trying to bring back my giddy aunt. People don't say, my giddy aunt. That's a great saying, and people don't say it enough.
My giddy aunt, I remember saying that when I was a kid, so it might be British in originally, I don't know, but I remember a friend of mine at drama school, he used to say, my giddy aunt, and she certainly is giddy. He'd added his own little giddiness on the end of it, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. So Kenny is on 15th of January, starts 15th of January, and it's in co-production. It's with the Sydney Festival, so we're really fantastically excited to be umbrellaed with the Sydney Festival again. So thank you, Wesley Enoch, and thanks for all the Sydney Festival. So tickets would be on sale through the Sydney Festival, but importantly, they'll be on sale at the Ensemble Theatre. Next up, and it's no rush. Go on.
Ask,
yes, of course. Go on.
So is it going anywhere else other than the Ensemble?
Not at the moment, but who knows? Right. Watch this space.
Great. Well, it's a one-man show, so very, very portable.
It can go anywhere. That's right. We can play in toilets all over the country.
Yeah.
When we're allowed to leave the state.
Well, that's yes, that's right. So Outdated comes up next, written and directed by me. Just because I can, and I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Yarin Azuyelik and Rachel Gordon are the two protagonists in Outdated, and it's about online dating. It's about going back to dating after you've had a long relationship, you're middle-aged-ish, and then suddenly you're back on the dating trail. The idea for me, it came from the idea of what horror it would be to have to present myself to someone again if I had to, because my dear wife Jackie, she knows all my faults, not that I have many, and all my strengths, and to have to then sell myself would be my worst nightmare. Jane, what would you think of that?
The idea too that you actually now have to do it in a completely different forum or platform that you've ever had to do it before. I mean, now the whole online thing, that certainly wasn't part of the deal when I was dating all those ancient years ago. But so again, that it fills me with absolute horror.
Yes.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's it is a comedy, but it has, hopefully has things to say about being on your own, about loneliness, and about, I think it's about how we try and connect with our fellow humans, and the pressure to be something perhaps that you're not always seems to be apparent, especially in dating. I mean, for us being actors and going for auditions is hard enough, but it's not about your life. Whereas the idea of trying to meet someone and the idea of it being for life, not just as a one-night stand, seemed the pressure would be enormous, I imagine. Although, of course, people do it, and they are very successful at meeting people.
Surprisingly successful, I think. So many people have met that way now, that it's becoming quite de rigueur, really, and like you say, successful. So, but I imagine there's quite a few very sort of interesting and hilarious things that could happen along the way.
There are.
Which I guess we're going to see in this.
There are some horror stories. I did some research talking to people who've gone through this, and some of the stories are absolutely hilarious, some of which made the play. And I was just interested in the characters because Yarlin and Rachel are so good at playing that sort of that underlying subtext of saying one thing and then on top saying another, and that's part of, I think, these disastrous dates. The other thing in the play that I wanted to explore is they're saying one thing to each other, but the audience hear their real thoughts. So that's something that made us all laugh when we read it. So hopefully that will carry through to when we come to do it.
Sounds great.
Outdated is on in, where is it on? Look, I've got my brochure and I can't read with my glasses on. Yes, at March. Yes, it is.
5th of March.
It's coming up.
And just tell me why didn't you cast Kate and I?
Oh, yeah,
The theatre legends.
you weren't available. I asked, and both your agents didn't pick up the phone when it was me on the other end. I don't know what was going on.
I did hear him say something about 40.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's what I heard.
I was trying to be kind, Kate. I was just blaming your agent.
Now, Yarlin and Rachel were both in the Norman Conquests, weren't they, together? So is that what kind of made you go, oh, they got a great chemistry?
Yes, they did. And they were brilliant together in that, and they played husband and wife. And so when I was writing it, I thought, oh, that might be really interesting to get them back together. And they are gorgeous together. They're very, very funny.
They're so lovely to watch on stage together.
There's something to be said for having a chemistry with a couple of actors. I think we've done that together with you, me, and Kath Moore before, when we just go, well, this just feels right, so let's pursue it and take it a little bit further, which is I think a really great thing to do.
Yes, and you guys both played husband and wife in my film, Plug, being Gavin.
Yes.
Catch it sometime whenever we get a release. And you were fantastic together. So it does
Well, I
does
like
work.
to say, Jamie, that's taking it the next step. You took that relationship from the stage then to
yes.
film.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Indeed. So Honour by Joanna Murray Smith is up next with Lucy Bell and Poppy Lynch, and a huge, lovely play. It's a play I saw 20 odd years ago, and I've always been a fan. I'm so excited that Kate Champion is directing.
It's wonderful. I love Joanna Murray Smith. I love her insight into relationships, into couples, into life. I just find her really insightful and fascinating, and I love the way I love the words, and to have Lucy Bell and Poppy Lynch in it, fantastic.
Yes, and you did a play with your man there, Brian. Fantastic Joanna Murray Smith play.
Yeah, we did 90 a long time ago, and it was it's beautiful. I mean, it's always challenging because when there's only two of you on stage, it's always challenging because you have to do so much talking. But it's brilliant. So I can't wait for this. I'm really looking forward to it. And I did all those years ago. Can't remember.
What were you saying, Jamie? Then?
I was just going to say what an amazing writer she is about to write about mature sort of marriages and relationships. Which is doesn't happen a lot, I don't think, in this country. For some reason, we just don't. They're not I guess there's always a bent towards youth, in a lot of new plays, new writing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what an amazingly successful writer she is. I think we just don't. Excuse me. We just don't give her credit for the productions of this play that have been on in the West End and New York with the most incredible actors in the world.
Yes.
The Diana Rigg and the Eileen Atkins, and like all these people have done this play, and they've done it for a reason. They've done it because it's a great adult relationship play. And I just think we should be so proud of Joanna Murray Smith, and people like Tim Daly and people who get performed overseas a lot, and perhaps don't get the credit back here that they should be given.
Yeah, and some of the huge international stars, like you say, who so value the work. I remember she told us a story when we did 90 about Annette Bening. Absolutely championing her work and doing.
Yeah, and Meryl Streep, I think.
Yeah.
I think Meryl Streep was in on one of the this amazing roll call of actors that have done this play, and so it's really exciting to see it again. I've never seen it on stage. It's been performed a couple of times over the years.
Yes.
Here in Australia, but I think it's great to give writers like her another airing.
Yeah, she's a fantastic writer, and she's very, as you say, hugely successful. One of our all-time top writers, of course, another theatre legend. But I'm really excited about this cast and excited about Kate directing it too. I think it's going to be very special indeed. And the play written before the Me Too movement, having gone through that now to this point, it would be really interesting to see what the take is on this play. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too.
The Woman in Black by Stephen Mallatrat. Susan Hill wrote the book, and Stephen Mallatrat adapted. It has this newcomer called Jamie Oxenbould in
I've heard of him.
Yes,
I've heard him.
He's lovely. He's a very handsome man.
Actually,
and
a lot of people. Theatre legend.
He might be. And Garth Holcomb, who's a lovely, beautiful actor, is another two-hander. Now, the reason for this in the planning, we had a vague sense of planning in our madness of where we are with COVID, is that the smaller cast plays will be at the beginning of the year, and then it will grow to larger cast plays towards the end of the year. And the hope is, as the social distancing disappears, then the casts get larger and the audiences get larger. So that's so it's another two-hander. So we've had one solo and two-handers in the middle there, a four-hander with Honor, but now we're still in the small cast territory. So this is a very spooky, scary play, Jamie. You've spoken about it over the years a lot. You'll finally get to do it eventually.
I'll be sick of it.
Yeah, you've just been talking about it. Tell us a bit about the play from your point of view.
Well, it's a small cast, as you say, two-handed, but quite a few characters. So I get to play quite a few different characters. So it's going to feel like there's 10 people on stage, hopefully.
All legends.
All theatre legends. It's a fantastic little ghost story that's been on stage on the West End for 30 years. I think after Mousetrap, it's the longest running play that's been continuously going on the stage. And it's the story of a man who feels like he's cursed. A curse has befallen him in his life. It's a period piece. And he wants to retell the story of how he got the curse to hopefully purge himself of the curse. And he enlists a younger actor to play him and to basically tell the story. So the two of them tell this story of him travelling to the marshes of Yorkshire and how he encounters this woman and something terrible happens to him. So it's all told in the sort of in dim light and with amazing sound effects.
Yes.
And it's basically a very, very intricate and multi-layered ghost story that will hopefully be scary and hopefully be thrilling and get the hairs on your back of your neck standing up. And it's also very funny as well. There's a lot of humour in it, and it's intriguing. And it's unlike any other play that I've ever read, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is very funny. It's surprisingly funny. Also, I think when you're scared, when you jump out of your seat, you tend to laugh. And I remember when I saw it a long time ago, when it was first on in the West End, many years ago, it was one of the most scariest moments I've had in the theatre. And it's not easy to scare you in the theatre. Much easier, I think, on film, because you've got the edit, you've got the jump cut, you've got the sudden face coming at the window, or whatever it might be.
And,
on stage,
and special effects and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to do some special effects, I think, but
we are indeed.
So there's going to be. It's really exciting to do a play like this in the theatre. I find it. Yeah,
the sound is another character on stage, and Michael Waters is doing the sound, and it's I'm really excited about that because the sound is so important, and the lighting as well. Trudy doing the lighting, it's a great combination, a great team. So I can't wait. It's been too long.
Yeah.
I know, I can't wait. I've learnt my lines, and I'm just doing the whole piece just by myself in my office here on a daily basis.
Right, good for you. So you'll know it so
well.
No,
I haven't really.
Well, when it's a two-hander, learning your lines is a very good idea before you go into rehearsal, I always think.
Well, it's kind of a must because you don't want to be shown up by younger actors.
Makes me shiver. It makes me shiver thinking about it, actually, as that rocking chair moment. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. Do you like scary things, Katie, or are you a bit more? Are you good? Yeah.
Well, I have to do that sometimes.
Yes.
Or this.
Or both, yeah.
Because that's the thing, like you said, it's much easier, I suppose, to scare people in a movie situation because of that. But me personally, it's those sorts of things. When you say sound effects and that sort of thing in the theatre, I find it much more terrifying.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to experiencing, and also. It will be, I hope, for me, that's when I read this, I think about the idea of a theatrical experience, which I really, really love, the whole idea of the experience, not just a play, not just actors, but everything coming together. I'm really
and it is very, very theatrical, like it is literally said in the theatre. So when one character says, and we could use, and one character asks the other one, but how do we get the feeling that we're in a London street? And they just play some, the sound of the horses and people in London traffic, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden we're there, and they go, oh yeah, it's quite easy, isn't it? And how do we get the feeling of being on a marsh? And then we dim the lights and we're there. So it's very sort of meta. It's like a play within a play. It is like, it literally is the definition of a theatrical play.
That's right. It's fabulous being set in the theatre. Whenever I watch anything scary, not that I tend to go to the cinema particularly to watch scary movies, but if I do, I have to sit right at the back so no one can see me jump because I get so embarrassed. And so I can jump on the back row all alike. But if I'm down the front, I think, oh, that's so embarrassing, particularly if no one else jumped. It's just me. Yeah. It's just the title.
Well, it'll be fascinating to watch the reaction from on stage, watching people's jumping and fear and laughter.
Film the audience. That would be that's right.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
And that's in June and July next year, so we're really looking forward to it. It'll be nice and cool as well, particularly for this play.
It's a wintry play.
Lots of dry ice. Not on stage. That's right. Or in Kirribilli. Killing Katie, Confessions of a Book Club. Now, this has a theatre legend in it. Kate Razon is part of the cast of Killing Katie.
Yay.
Tracy Trinder's play about a book club. Valerie Bader, Chantal Jamieson, Bromlin Lim, Georgina Symes, and directed by Frankie Savage. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, Katie, we've been talking about this for about 3 years. So it's very exciting. Tell us a bit about Tracy Trinder's comedy.
Well, it's definitely a comedy. It has useful, hilarious moments. It's also very insightful as well, looking into the relationships of these women who have come together over the years in a book club, and everybody, so many people have come up to me and spoken to me about this play already.
Yes.
I'm bringing my book club. This is where we were going to do it last year, and now I assume it's going to be the same this year. It's just so many people have that experience, and it's not just the women. Men go to book clubs as well, but it's the idea that these women have been together for such a long time, and then of course there is the introduction of the young Katie, and especially for the character that I play in this, she finds this incredibly grating. And really has difficulty trying to deal with what's going on. A lot of the humour comes out of those moments, which I think is so clever. That's why I think, Tracey's script is so clever in making what could be a really nasty sort of bitchy situation turn into something that's actually very, very interesting.
Yes, I
Even
agree.
when it's slightly tragic, which there are a few of those as well.
There are.
It's still very funny. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm so looking forward to it, and I'm so looking forward to working with this fabulous group of women. And actually, I realise none of whom I've worked with before.
Ah, fantastic.
I've known them, and I've seen their work, and we've talked and so forth, but I've never actually worked with them, and that again is very exciting.
Very exciting.
And do you like that, Katie? Do you like working with a new bunch of people, or is there something about working with old friends that you like?
About going back into your happy place with a group of people that you know so well and you feel really confident with. That's lovely. But what is really exciting, and what I think I speak for myself as an actor, I love, because you know how we form relationships so quickly. We did a couple of days of a workshop for this play last year, and it's just so great when you get a whole bunch of like-minded actors sitting around a table talking about something, and you realise you have so much in common simply because of your profession, and then you get this really sort of tight-knit situation happening really fast. And also a credit to Frankie Savage, who put all of those women together in the room and sort of glued us together over a couple of days. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, because it is exciting working with people that, especially people for me who I've watched work, Valerie Bader being one of them, and I have such admiration for most of for all the women in the play, and seeing their work on stage, I kind of go, well, this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
Lift my game to get to their level.
Yes,
yeah.
That's right. That's how you feel sometimes, and that's a really good place to be.
Yeah.
Kid and Katie, Confession of a Book Club is the 30th of July into September. Tracey's watching. Hello, Tracey. And that's going to be very, very exciting. We're very excited about it. Can't wait for it to be on. Coming up next is a play that's dear to me. I performed it a long while ago with Katie, with a guy called Brian Megan. I'll introduce you. He's a very lovely chap. And Danny Mitchell, and the three of us had a great time. It's art by Yasmina Reza. It's a very funny play about art and friendships with Craig Rucastle, Chris Taylor and Andrew Hansen, some of the Chaser team coming together again after doing Neville's Island. I did with them a few years ago. And before that, Craig and Chris did a David Williamson play before that. So they're all coming back together, and it's going to be fun, I think. Great fun. Have you ever seen art?
I saw it when it toured here quite a long time ago, and I think it was Tom Conti who came out and did it. I think it was that production.
Yeah, right. Yes.
So many years ago. But this is just a match made in heaven, really, isn't it? The Chaser boys in this, the guys who love satirizing sort of institutions.
Yes.
And that's basically what the play is sort of doing, isn't it? Having a go at hypocrisy and the institution of the art world.
Well, the character, if Serge buys a painting that's white on white and has paid a lot of money for it, and his friends are indifferent about it. So it's about art and the craziness of what is art, but it is also, of course, about friendship, and it tests the friendship in a huge way. I remember when I did it with Brian and Danny, we had great fun talking about what is art, and we all painted our own artwork and displayed it in the foyer. I remember at the time. I think we sold it too.
You auctioned it off. I remember that. That was also hilarious.
Yes, it was just as funny as the play.
I do recall there's an amazing monologue in it, and it was the monologue that Brian did.
Yes. Yvonne. Yes.
I can't remember now what it was, but it's
about getting married. Yes.
Yes, about getting married. So who's doing that?
Three and a half pages. That's Andrew. Andrew will be taking that role. It's Ivan, yeah, and he will do his monologue. It's one of the funniest monologues because it gets worse and worse. The description, the preparations for his wedding.
It's brilliant. It is one of the most superb pieces of writing.
Yeah,
and
and wonderfully translated by Christopher Hampton. It's hard to, I think, get a good translation. He's done such a brilliant job because, of course, this play has been going for years and years and years, as long as The Woman in Black, if not longer. I saw it in 1996 with Tom Courtney and Albert Finney and Ken Stott, and it was the original. I actually saw the second night. It was actually a matinee, and I think they were a bit shaky after the opening night in terms of there must have been a big party, but it was still brilliant, and they were wonderful, of course. And
wow, what a treat to see that production.
Yes, it was.
I know, and the amount of people that have done it over the years.
Yes.
You know, have a look at the list of the people who have appeared in art, and most recently, I think the guys from the League of Gentlemen.
Yes, that's right.
I think they'd done it fairly recently in London, which would have been hilarious. So it's a great character piece for three actors who know each other very well, which is why I think it's just so perfect for these guys. It is a real perfect match, this play and the Chaser Boys.
A lot of comedians have done it over the years too. It's sort of foolproof in that way. It works so well. Next up, we have art is September, October. Next up is David Williamson's play Nearer the Gods. This is a play that we haven't done here in New South Wales before, so I'm very excited about it. It's a satire take on Isaac Newton, and it's directed by the wonderful Janine Watson, who went through the Ensemble Directors, the Sandra Bates Ensemble Directors Award a few years ago, and we were really happy for Janine to come and do David Williamson's latest play for us. It's a fabulous play, very exciting. It's a comedy, has a great cast, has Rowan Davies, Sean O'Shea and Sam Sullivan as part of the cast, so I'm really looking forward to that. Did you know much about Isaac Newton, Katie? No, well, you will.
Why did you pick me? I'm not sure that it matters though. If you do or you don't know much about Isaac Newton, but obviously an amazing, inventor. Also, it had,
Yes, I agree.
I doubt very much that it's important when it comes to seeing playing.
You're right.
Something tells me that there's more to it than...
the story. It's a story, and it doesn't matter. And the story is so amazing because it's one of those stories that if something hadn't been said or someone hadn't done something, then this wouldn't have happened. And now where would we be?
Oh, one of those sliding doors moments. It's a fairly unusual thing for David to take on. He's the man who writes about our social mores of this he's always so current.
Yes, he is.
So I don't think it's an unusual one for him. So it's fascinating to watch him look at the social mores of the 1600s rather than, yesterday, which is what he normally does.
And when it was performed a few years ago, it got rave reviews. So it's and what the beauty of the play is that it is very contemporary in its feel. It's not set in particular period costume. It has that crossover between now and then, so it feels very contemporary, and the language of course is David Williamson language, and so that's very contemporary, and of course very funny, as well as being about something. It's a really exciting play. It's an exciting piece to read, and I know that the production that was done at QTC, it was hugely successful, so I'm really looking forward to it. Part of the cast too is Melinda Mathis and Deborah Arns, so it's a really great cast with Rowan and Sean O'Shea, of course, and Samuel Solomon. So I'm very excited about it, and that's at the end of the year. That's sort of almost our Christmas play, almost.
and isn't it great that you've got Janine and Frankie, who have both been through your the assistant director program, that coming back to direct plays. I think that's fantastic. You should be commended for following through on your support of people.
Yes, thank you. Well, that's part of the idea of it, that there is a follow through, and particularly that when there are directors who have so much talent and emerging and doing great work elsewhere, but also coming to do stuff on our stage is always very important, I think. So
yes,
so Nearer the Gods is 5th of November to the 24th of December, and it's booking very well. So so as all our plays are, and because of this strange COVID year of bringing plays back from this year into next year, hence the sort of Spray 21 that Craig Rucastle is doing on our cover. Tickets are
Really
even rarer than they are. Diva Degustation is one of our 3 cabarets. We have 3 cabarets just quickly. This is with Trevor Ashley doing Trevor Ashley's wonderful cabaret stuff that he does. We're really excited about that. And another thing, John Barry's back with some more poems and talks and speeches.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's he might be another theatre legend, a true theatre legend. Not that you are not.
Yeah,
but
no, he is.
He's wonderful, and his show last year was so beautiful. So he's coming back, and we have the casting couch. The Todd Mckenny is back again with Nancy Hayes. The two of them are doing the casting couches together. So that'll be song
now
and
that's
chat.
a theatre legend.
They're both, again, they are absolutely true theatre legends. And their show, a few years ago, Todd's show was fantastic, and Trevor's show as well, and John, they've all done those shows with us before, but these are the same, but different. So they're new takes on the same shows they've done before. So look out for those.
Beautifully too at the launch. I loved Trevor's song.
Yeah,
at the launch.
amazing.
That was just fantastic.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Absolutely. He was brilliant. He's got such a voice, and I'm really looking forward to those. So they'll be throughout the year. Keep an eye out for those. We also have a sort of very exciting announcement coming up that hasn't quite finalised the dotting the I's and ticking the T's, but that will come up. So look out for that for our single ticket launch, which will be into January. It concerns a living legend, and I can say no more. But look, watch this space. Watch this space. Now, anything else you guys like to add?
Mark.
Yeah, it's me. No, before we disappear.
Well, I'd just like to add that I am thrilled and excited for the 2021 season.
Yes. Thank you.
And just harping back to what you said before, Mark, who would have thought that when we were sitting there doing that podcast that we were going to have the year that was 2020, but it will soon be behind us, and we'll be back. And it was just so exciting to be. I came to see one of the nights of the play reading, the David Williamson play readings that we did recently, and it was just so exciting. I mean, I have to admit, when I was sitting in the theatre watching, and as the actors stepped out on stage to start, even as I saw you standing out there to start with, it actually brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Thank
so
you.
I'm so excited that it's all happening, and I'm thrilled that you guys have been able to make it through this incredibly hard time. And
Thank you.
hats off to all of you at the Ensemble for making it happen.
And part of that getting through is, of course, the people watching, the donations, the credits, the people saying to us, we're here for you, we can't wait for you to open. So thank you for everybody watching this morning for all of that great effort, because we're here because of you, and we had help through the year, and it makes you realise that the theatre is part of a huge community, and the theatre belongs to the community as much as it belongs to the people that work there. So thank you all for that.
And how important it is, and how much we need it. We just take it for granted when we can go whenever we feel like it. But when it's taken away from us, that's when we go, wow, we really need to. These are important things to be able to get theatres and venues up and running again, because they're very important to a lot of people.
Yeah. I'd also just like to thank Create New South Wales for their help with their help of funding, and also for the Belnays Foundation for their support for this year, and all our wonderful people who are working at the Ensemble Theatre. Our team is so wonderful. So this is it. This is 2021. It's coming up. It's exciting. Thank you both for going through it again. Oh, you've got your own. Oh, no.
I just found
that
one.
was all a trick? Penn and Teller, eat your heart out. We didn't fool them. Thank you for being here this morning. It's so wonderful to talk to you both. And I can't wait to see you in a foyer next year.
I know. Me too.
Thanks, guys. Keep
Thanks,
out the
Mark.
rain. Bye. Lots of love.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for booking tickets. I'm looking forward to seeing you next year. Remember, it's all COVID safe. We have lots of things in place to make you feel safe when you come to the theatre. So we'll go through that when you do come to the theatre. But the main thing is that you come, you enjoy, you feel safe, and you're entertained. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.